Good evening out there in football land, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of All Things Football from a lady's perspective. I'm your host, Sonia Anderson, with this February 27, 2018 edition of All Things Football. Please go ahead and subscribe so that you too can be in the know when I am updating this YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, and gents, as always, if you're tuning in, please share this channel with that special lady in your life. And although I'm a Panthers fan, I'm about all things football. So every fan is welcome here. First of all, let me get into my apologies for not posting last week. It is so much news and I really had every intention of getting on here. But unfortunately, I suffered a loss in my family and was unable to get on here. And I just honestly needed a few days to get myself together. So tonight's show is in memory of my Aunt Barbara Jean Pearson Larkins of Nashville, Tennessee. She will be greatly missed, and she and I were extremely close. So again, rest in peace, Aunt Barbara. Now let's get into some football news. First things first, you all know the Combine is coming up on Friday, March 2nd, and it will run through Monday, March 5th. And we have a lot of talent. I'll talk about that in just a moment, but let me talk about some more breaking news. First of all, Kirk Cousins, we already said it. We already knew he was going to be franchised. Apparently, the New York Jets are interested in him. Now, talks have not begun yet with monies or that kind of thing, but we're going to be keeping our ears glued to Bleacher Report, Fox News, CBS Sports, and all those affiliates to see just who has the right money and the right motive and the right everything to make Mr. Cousins feel like he wants to sign on up. Now, another quarterback that's out there is Andy McCarron. Now, a lot of you all don't know that Andy had been in arbitration against the Cincinnati Bengals. And you know he is the second quarterback to Andy Dalton and has been for quite a while. But apparently, the Bengals did not activate him in time for him to be able to receive his compensation during the 2014 season. And so he filed an arbitration. He won, and he's going to get his back pay, and he's now a free agent. So Mr. McCarron is now looking for a quarterback position and has severed his ties effective March 14th with the Cincinnati Bengals. So congrats for winning your arbitration, Mr. McCarron, and good luck in whatever your future holds. If it's in the NFL, I hope you find that great team that you can mesh with and be happy. Now, the big news in quarterback news this week was the re-signing of Blake Bortles of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Blake was the recipient of a $54 million contract for 3 years through 2020 with the Jaguars, despite a questionable season, questionable passes. But hey, they went to the playoffs, so that's what they're counting on. And Jacksonville had not been in a little while. Now, he's going to have $54 million, like I said, and $26.5 million of that is guaranteed over the course of his 3 years. So good luck, Blake. Congrats to you for that contract extension, renewal, whatever it is. And we'll keep our eyes open to see if, he proves himself as fruitful. Now, his teammates had a little bit of rumble going, including Leonard Fournette, who went on Twitter and quote unquote roasted Blake. But apparently, according to them, it's all love. Now, Jarvis Landry, Miami Dolphins, since we're talking about Florida teams, is he going to stay or is he going to go? Apparently, according to the Miami Herald, there has been some talks that he may be released. Now, we don't have any confirmation, and right now, these are just rumors, and I'm just doing my due diligence and researching, and where there's smoke, there's fire. So right now, there's a little steam, I'll say that, about Mr. Jarvis Landry remaining with the Dolphins. Now, we're going to go ahead and flip on over to a little bit of quarterback rankings, since I talked to you all about the money that Mr. Blake Bortles is going to bring in. Let me let you all know about the salaries of other starting quarterbacks and how they compare with Mr. Bortles. Now, first of all, Kirk Cousins, he's out there. He's projected to have $29 million at least. But again, it's just a projection. He's not under contract, so we're not sure. Number two, signed in the league, Drew Brees. New Orleans Saints, $28 million. Number 3, Jimmy Garoppolo has $27.5 million. This is per year, guys, not overall, per year. Number 4, the gunslinger Matt Stafford from the Lions, $27 million. Derek Carr with the Raiders, $25 million. Andrew Luck, the Colts, $24.594 per year. Number 7, Ravens Joe Flacco, $22,133,000. Interesting fact, the Ravens may be considering replacing Mr. Flacco. Now, that's going to be just so they can free up some cap space heading into the drafts that are coming up in the next few weeks. Now, an important thing for you all to remember is March 14th is the deadline for the free agent tagging, that kind of thing. And, of course, the drafts are coming up right after this weekend's combine. So a lot of teams are releasing these players that are subpar, not living up to their money, so they can free up the salary cap to get these new draftees. Now, let me go back to this list. Aaron Rodgers comes in at number 8. By the way, the Packers are negotiating a new contract with him. I think he's coming up on his termination of his current contract. So they are in negotiations now about a contract extension. He's making $22 million per year. And like I said, it's up in the air about his future, but they are talking about giving him a nice little extension that's worth $30 million, which will bring him way up on the list. Number 9, you got it, Seattle's own Russell Wilson. Let me tell you all something about Russell. First of all, with the NFL, he makes $21.9 million per year. A new deal is definitely going to be coming up for Russell. But did y'all hear he's out there being Bo Jackson on the baseball field? And he is not shabby. He was in the New York Giants. New York, one of those teams, Mets, somebody today, they practice camp. And he hit it out the park. Like, he hit it way up in the stands. I'm like, okay, Russell. But he said he has no plans of leaving Seattle, no plans of leaving the NFL. This is just something he's doing his spare time and probably for a second check. Good luck to you, Mr. Wilson. Now, he's bringing in $21.9 million, like I said. Number 10 is Big Ben Roethlisberger from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's bringing in $21.85. Now, the Steelers are also speaking about a contract extension for Mr. Big Ben. So we'll see about that. A lot of these guys are coming up on the end. This is 2018. A lot of their contracts are terminating at the end of this season, some of them in 2020. So it's not too early for them to be talking about where their coins are going to be coming from in the next few months. You want to go ahead and knock that out the way to make sure you're not looking for a job when your contract is up. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's see. We got Mr. Smith, Alex Smith from Kansas City Chiefs at $21.7 million. Now, let me insert real quick little Chief news. Marcus Peters, bye-bye. Y'all, what happened? I'm going to have to follow up on that for my second segment of this show because that was kind of breaking as I was getting everything together for tonight. And I was like, no more. This show has got to be condensed. My last show was like 40 minutes and I was like, got to keep their attention. So we'll talk about that next show. Anyway, he's bringing in $21.7 for the Chiefs. Eli Manning, $21 million, comes in at number 12. His rank with the New York Giants. Now, Doc Rivers comes in at number 13 with $20.812 million. Number 14 belongs to, him, Cameron Jarrell Newton, quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. He brings in $20.76 million per year. Now, the first order of business, I kind of got the cat out of the bag on this one. So, Matt Hurney is the new GM for the Panthers. And I'm going to talk about that in a little while. But his first order of business is getting Cam a contract extension. So, for all y'all out there that thought Cam was going to be done, apparently that's not what's going on right now. But you never know. It's the NFL, known for shocks. It should be called NFS, right? Number 15, right behind him. Like literally, like Cam's making $20.76. You know him, Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, $20.75. Like, I don't know, $500 $5,000, whatever the math comes down to, less than Cam, but he's right on him. All right, number 16, Case Keenum, $20 million. 17 is Ryan Tannehill from the Dolphins, 19.25. And he's making pennies for what he's really worth, because the Dolphins are only keeping him because he's so cheap. In other words, Ryan Tannehill is no buster, but they are getting him for like dirt cheap. You know why? 19.25 million, really? And he's a beast. It's definitely money saving to that organization to keep him. Now remember, we got 32 teams. I'm not gonna get all 32, but I am at number 18. AJ McCarron, 19 million projected, because we just told y'all he severed his ties with the Bengals effective in about 16, 17 days. So hopefully somebody picks him up. Number 19, Blake Bortles contract boils down to 18 million a year. Number 20, right behind AJ McCarron, Andrew Dalton. Excuse me, y'all. Talking all this money got my throat dry. Andrew Dalton has 16 million, and they're going to be talking about bringing his contract up soon as well. 21, Tyrod Taylor as a rookie for the Buffalo Bills. He's bringing in 15.25 mil a year. Then, this is the shock of everybody's shock. Tom Brady only brings home 15 million. Now, he's coming in number 22. You all will remember that Tom took a pay cut a season or two back so that they could have more money to build their team. So he took a pay cut, and obviously it benefited them. Number 23, except for this year when the Eagles beat them. Number 23 is Mitchell Trubisky, who only brings in 7.25, but it's a rookie deal. He's the 2017 number 2 draft, so he's coming into his own. Number 24, Jared Goff, 6.984 million, and he's a 2016 number 1 draft. And number 25, Carson Wentz, 6.669 million per year, 2016 number 2 draft. 26, Jameis Winston, 6.337 number 1 draft for the 2015 draft. And that's actually a shock, because I'm like, I don't remember. I thought Jameis had been in the league longer, because he's, coming to his own, but he's not making that big money yet. Marcus Mariota, Tennessee Titans, only 6.035 or 6.053 million, sorry. And he was the number 2 draft pick for 2015. Now, Patrick Mahomes, 4.1 million, number 10 draft for 2017. Deshaun Watson, number 12 draft for 2017, and $3,463. Now, what's going to shock y'all is Dak Prescott tops out the top 30. He's number 30. Only making $680,000 a year, y'all. He didn't even hit the million. So he's just making a little over $500,000. Now, he's eligible for a new deal coming up, and he can't re-sign or change any financial stuff until after this season, but yeah. Now, I'm kind of debating which way to go with this next piece, but I'll go ahead and go into some NFL news that I just got to tell y'all about. Now, you all know about the catch committee that the NFL has. There was all these controversial catches from 2015, 2016, 2017. Well, apparently this committee ruled on today, from way back in 2015, that controversial catch against between the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers, where Dez Bryant caught that catch in the 2015 divisional round, it was ruled complete. And as y'all remember, the Cowboys were eliminated. It's kind of like these post-mortem awards or post-mortem conviction reliefs. After the person is dead and you try to reel it back, oh, we executed them by mistake. They really were innocent. No amount of money is going to bring them back. And nothing can undo the fact that they lost that championship game. Now, according to ESPN, that's where I got this from, Kevin Seifert, The New York Giants owner and competition committee member John Mara cited that the Bryant play, when discussing a possible change, will be used in the future to change that league's catch rule. So all these replays that make these games into 6-hour games instead of 2 and 3 hours, they're not going to be doing all that. So they may rewatch it, but then they're going to go ahead and reverse it, and it's a done data. Like, I don't know what we did back in the 70s and 80s, and I'm just talking about my time era here, before we had this instant replay and all these aerial cameras and everything. Like, it's just a lot. All right, let's talk about some releases that are going on now. The Detroit Lions have free agents put on their franchise player Ezekiel Ansah today. He's a defensive end, but he's now their franchise player. He's estimated in December that the tag would be worth a little bit more than $17.4 million guaranteed, and the Lions are projected to have about $44.7 million in salary cap space, not accounting for his franchise tender. So we'll be following that as well. And speaking of releases, let me go ahead and let you all know all these people who are being released, because like I told you all earlier, they're trying to free up some money. Now, about Ansah real quick. He was in the 2013 draft, and he immediately lived up to his expectations. Now, the Brigham Young product tallied 15.5 sacks combined during his first 2 seasons, and he experienced a breakout 2015 season when he piled up 14.5 average sacks and 4 forced fumbles en route to a Pro Bowl selection. Releases. The Jacksonville Jaguars have exercised their 2018 option with tight ends Mercedes Lewis, the O-line Tyler Shakeney, and Josh Wells. For the Texans, they've released or franchised linebacker Brian Cushing. The Bears have selected to franchise linebacker Pernell McPhee and defensive back Quentin Demps. Now, the Browns claimed wide receiver Larry Pinkert off waivers from Jacksonville. Dallas got a lot of shakeups going on in their coaching staff. Keelan Moore is their new quarterback coach. Sanjay Lyle is named their receivers coach. Paul Alexander is the offensive coach. Ken Armato is the defensive assistant. Doug Coleman is their assistant special teams coach, and Marcus Paul is the assistant strength coach. Now, Tampa Bay also got a couple little coaches switches. They named Brenson Buckner their defensive line coach, and they've named Stephen Nicholas as their defensive quality control coach. Never heard that, but all right. So congrats to all those coaching switches. Now, Seattle has named Jethro Franklin as their assistant defensive line coach, and Larry Izzo, assistant special teams coach, and Steven Shipko as their offensive assistant coach. So again, a lot of releases and a lot of coaching switch-ups. Now, speaking of switch-ups and stuff, I wanted to do a segment on each of my shows called a Spotlight on a Team. Now, normally we'd have 2, but tonight's going to be New York. I'm going to select a team that I don't really talk about a lot on this show, just to kind of highlight some things that is going on with that. So tonight's team, again, is the New York Giants. And I wanted to just speak on the fact that they've picked up quite a few compensatory drafts. Now, they will pick the front and the back of drafts, having both the number 2 draft, and they also received the 4th round pickup for the draft as well. The Giants did lose defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins to the Colts during this whole offseason. And all in all, they're going to have 7 draft picks go to New York. Now, offensive lineman John Grieco has resigned. The possible Giants cuts may be seen with the new era of their new GM, former GM of the Panthers, now new GM Dave Gettleman, and their new coach Pat Schumer. So, you know, when it's new coaching staff, a lot of new things come out. So it's going to be a lot of new stuff going on in the Giants. And trust me, they need it. We know what their season looked like. Like, I never recognized that Giants team that I saw last season. Now, cornerback Janoris Jenkins has a $6 million cap and 3 years remaining on his contract. So we're going to see if they're going to hang on to him or release him so they can get that $6 million to go after one of the drafts that's coming up. Speaking of GMs, Marty Hurney, Carolina Panthers, won. Well, his case was dismissed where his ex-wife sued him for harassment. That case was dismissed on February 16th by a Charlotte judge, and therefore the Panthers reinstated him as, at that time, interim GM, but he has since now been appointed permanent GM of the Carolina Panthers. So congratulations to Marty Hurney, and he's going to be doing quite a lot in Carolina, including all of the revamping that we've got going on down there. Now, let's see, I guess this is on that page. The Carolina Panthers on Monday also did some drops. I personally am very disappointed, especially with Kurt Coleman. Now, this team call themselves, releasing up some of the age as well as some finances at the same time. Now, they did clear $6 million in salary cap space by releasing free safety Kurt Coleman and defensive end Charles Johnson. Now, let me tell y'all, Charles Johnson was released after that Super Bowl fiasco we had. But he took a drop in pay and he ended up being re-signed. But this time, I'm pretty sure he's a goner for good. Now, Kurt Coleman, who turns 30 in July, was scheduled to count $5,150,000 against the 2018 salary cap. So releasing him cleared $2.65 million in cap space. 31-year-old CJ Charles Johnson, who signed a 2-year contract extension last year worth $9.5 million, cleared another $3.25 million in space. Now, Coleman did sign a 3-year extension in 2016, which was worth $17 million with a $7 million guarantee. And he originally joined the Panthers as a free agent in 2015, leading us with 7 interceptions. He only had 4 interceptions in 2016 and none this season when he was named the team captain for the first time. Whew. Now, we know about Charles Johnson. He was suspended for PED usage 4 games, violating the league's policy, and he was inactive as well in the playoff game against New Orleans for an unspecified reason that we still don't know. Johnson had 67.5 sacks, second on the team's all-time leading list behind defensive end only Julius Peppers, who's 38, who has yet to announce whether he's going to come or go. So we are just waiting. But it appears he's coming back, but we're not sure. Johnson, 0 sacks this season. Like 0. This is the first time this had ever happened since his rookie year in 2007, when he played only 2 games as a 3rd-round pick out of Georgia. Now, he's had 5 sacks the past 3 seasons after having 8.5 in 2014 and 11.0 in 2013. So Carolina's now just shy of $20 million in salary cap space before the releases. So now we got a little bit more. I don't know, guys. What do y'all think? I mean, it's a lot of personal things. They always say, don't make football personal. But when it's players, especially like Kurt Coleman, that you could tell they have the heart and the zeal for the game and for their team and the camaraderie, and especially, him being appointed team captain, it just feels like a part of you just died. We went through this with Kelvin Benjamin, and, what do? It's the game. It's the nature of the game. It's the beast. Okay. So we're going to get on back to the next news. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers, I told you all earlier, he's going to be talking about getting him some more money. They are already talking about that in Green Bay. And the Raider Nation, are bringing back Michael Crabtree. Now, this is going to be his 4th season with the Raiders. Victor Fuhr of The Athletic reported that the team is not going to release him, because I guess they have been speaking on that, despite his $7.7 million cap hit for 2018. The Raiders would not incur dead cap charges for releasing him, which means they could free the $7.7 million even if they chose to move on. But looks like he's coming back. Now let me tell y'all a shocker. Freaking Teddy Bridgewater. Everybody knows when he went down in that fetal position and then just had all these other injuries. That was it. We never saw Teddy again. He's such a good person. He's getting franchised, y'all. The Vikings are going to make him a free agent, according to Ian Rappaport on NFL Network. Despite the Vikings specifically saying earlier on that they were not planning to assert his contract tolls, despite him missing most of the last 2 seasons with injuries, they're going to franchise him next month. He suffered a serious injury, the one I just told you all about, in August 2016, which y'all know that's the beginning of the season, that included a torn ACL after that and a dislocated knee. He missed the entire 2016 season and most of the 2017 campaign before returning to week 15, just for a small appearance against the Cincinnati Bengals. Y'all, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, all them boys came in and just took that man's job. So, in my mind, he kind of reminds me of RG3 a little bit. You get this injury and you have a great heart and your players love you and everything, but in the end, you're just not built for the game anymore because you've sustained so many injuries. Now, Case Keenum didn't mind taking the spotlight because he shined after taking the reins from the many times injured Sam Bradford, so we'll be looking to see what's going down with him next, I'm sure. Case Keenum just, because Minnesota was like on their third quarterback. You're like, okay, what's going on with Minnesota? Case Keenum took the reins and completed 67.6% of his throws, 3,547 yards with 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions across 15 games, leading the Vikings up to the NFC North Championship playoffs and 13-3 record. And he had a 98.3 passer rating, ranked 7th in the NFL. So, yeah, Case took y'all's job. Sorry. Okay, let me tell y'all about this, and then we'll get into our combine news. Jerry Mother-Loving Jones. Jesus of the Cowboys, basically. All right, so you all know there's been like widespread tension between Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and Roger Goodell, NFL commissioner. You all remember that Jerry was trying to allegedly thwart the renewal of Goodell's contract extension. And a lot of people, he sent emails and all this stuff, but he did not, file any type of lawsuit. Well, Goodell's contract is extended, and now he's coming for blood. He wants Jerry Jones to pay millions of dollars in his efforts that cost him, I guess, about his livelihood and his position with the NFL. The fact that he, badmouthed him and tried to make him, just the blunt of the joke of the whole NFL. But Jerry Jones, you really got some guards to stand on, because only thing Goodell is saying is that you basically defamed him. But where? You didn't say anything legal-wise. You didn't file any documents legal-wise. And if he's bringing up the Ezekiel Elliott situation, you're just standing by your own player. But again, you never put anything in writing. You never filed any type of legal documents that would state one way or another. So that might be a small loophole that Jerry can win this massive fine that Goodell is trying to impose him. All right, wrapping up with the show today, we're going to talk about the NFL Combine that's starting on Friday, March 2nd. That's going to be the first time we're going to see the running back, offensive linemen, and special teams take the field on Friday. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends take the field for the second day of the Combine on Saturday, March 3rd. Defensive linemen and linebackers will take the field for day 3 on Sunday, March 4th. And the final day, the grand finale, watches defensive backs take center stage in the Combine finale. Now, Let me give y'all my top 10 guys to watch and why. Number 10, Denzel Ward, cornerback out of Ohio State. The Buckeyes have produced 3 first-round cornerbacks in the last 2 years, so they known for cranking them out. Now, one of those former people, Marshawn Lattimore, New Orleans Saints, he used his playmaking skills down there with Denzel. Now, Ward is difficult for receivers to shake thanks to his fluid hips and expert route recognition. So it must be something about Ohio that they, choose that holder to shake him off, because I've heard the same thing about Marshawn Lynch. Now, his expectations are pretty high for the 40-yard dash, and he could move on up even from the number 10 position all the way up. He's very agile, and his physical position is amazing. Teams will want to evaluate how he has recovered from torn lateral meniscus he suffered in 2016, but I'm pretty sure he's young, he's healthy, he could bounce back. Number 9, Dante Jackson out of LSU, another cornerback. He could be the only one of his stock in this caliber for cornerback because he is lean and he can post some of the most eye-popping numbers records. Now, the former track star has his sights on John Ross's year-old 40-yard dash record of 4.22. So a 40-yard dash in 4 seconds? 4.12. Wow. No. Yes, it is. And should notch one of the fastest times this year. Jackson still requires tutelage on route recognition and finer points of the game, but he should have very little trouble landing with a team that could help develop him. Number 8, Derwin James, South Florida State. 2 years after the Jalen Ramsey was drafted, another Seminoles defensive back is poised to be one of the Combine's biggest standouts. Now, the Seminoles are known for cranking out defensive players. This year will not disappoint. At 6'3", 215 pounds, James has the range and physical approach to make plays at any level on the field. So we're going to see what his defense is going to be popping up to. Now, teams are going to be evaluating him to see if he's recuperated from his lateral torn meniscus as well. Actually, that last person I mentioned, my bad, y'all, did not have a torn meniscus. This was for Derwin James. Dante Jackson does not have a torn meniscus. So now we're going to go up to our number 7 pick, Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker from Virginia Tech. And we don't hear too much in the NFL or the Combine about Virginia Tech since the Mike Vick era, but they back y'all. At 6'5", 250 pounds with rare speed and athleticism, he's a singular prospect in the class for linebacker. Like, there's no competition as far as standouts in this position. He has raw instincts, and he's a proven capability of compensating by racking up the numbers with his physical agility. Expect him to emerge to be one of the Combine's best overall testers in all areas. Number 6, Taven Bryan, defensive tackle from Florida. Now, he's a year or two away from being able to really be out on the field with the starters, but he does have the characteristics that they're looking for, so they may draft him a little lower down in the draft and just, kind of prep him for the NFL. Now, his best fit might be as a 3-4 defensive end, as he can kind of wiggle around and get through blockers and stuff like that, and he can also disrupt the pass run. But his burst is what's going to be turning heads at the Combine. Number 5, Vita Vea, defensive tackle from Washington. He's a nose tackle, and he's one of the most known and the biggest stars coming to the Combine. Now, he can also run, and he's a run stuffer, and he has great ability. He's 6'5", 340 pounds, and his power and physical ability should entice teams and serve as a reminder that he still has ample potential to unlock. So, he's a big dude, but he can move. Number 4, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, Alabama. Now, y'all know Alabama is known for cranking out people as well for the NFL, like Roll Tide, UAB, you name it, they're out there. There's little certainty about the wide receiver class, but Ridley might be the most reliable option. Even with Alabama's uneven passing performances, he still proved to be one of the smoothest and most natural players at his position. Now, he might draw a little bit of scrutiny for him being too small because he's kind of slim. But if he proves himself in those drills, they might give him a chance to stand out from the crowd. Number 3, Baker Mayfield, quarterback, Oklahoma. Okay, who's going to pick this guy up? Probably the Browns, because they get the number 1 draft every year and they ain't even win half a game. So they're probably going to try to get Baker Mayfield. Now, another position for that would be Sam Darnold. Now, in my opinion, that's who's going to get picked up. But they got Baker Mayfield as being one of the top 3 according to ESPN. Now, the reason why they moved it is Sam Darnold apparently is not going to be throwing. Like, what? That could open a door for Mayfield, who at the very least should be able to make a big impression in his news conference and team interviews just by being there and making an appearance. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, and he might be a step behind with the other top passers as far as his measurements and his hands and everything. But he has some of the best movement and processing skills in the quarterback class. Number 2, Josh Rosen, another quarterback prospect, UCLA. Despite more buzz surrounding Baker Mayfield and some of his other peers, Rosen, who was a former Bruins star, is unmatched in the draft with his footwork, mechanics, and overall polish. Now, that quarterback sounds like he's amazing. Like, can we get him as a backup for Cam? Those assets should be readily evident in drills, and though he will have to quell concerns about his outspoken personality, here we go. He just got to make the right impression. So this dude is not going to be good for the Panthers because Cam is outspoken. This dude is outspoken. I don't know. Falcons, y'all want him? Y'all always talking about y'all want to get another quarterback and let Matt Ryan rest up a little bit so he can, refocus himself. I can't think of anybody else that might would grab him right up. Number 1, wrapping it on up, Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State. Now, he's already at the top running back of his class. And he might have his heights and, stuff set way, way, way higher than most people are looking at the combine. He has that do everything threat that he not only is going to play a position of running back, but he'll play pretty much anywhere they put him. He could become the first running back taken in the first 2 picks since Reggie Bush in 2006. And the combine could serve as a launching pad for him to demonstrate what other stuff he could actually do for the team that he's going to be picked up with. He has outstanding athleticism, and he was readily apparent throughout his prolific career with Penn State. So expect a lot of buzz to be around him to only grow louder and louder after his performance in Indianapolis. Now, this is where everything is going on at Lucas Oil Stadium, Combine this weekend. I'll be coming on here for a follow-up show about that. And that wraps up this edition of All Things Football. Let me go ahead and give you all my faith moments. First of all, fashion, because I never talk about that on here. It's warm, y'all. We really didn't even have a winter. I'm a little disappointed about that because I'm a winter baby and I like the winter. But since everybody's in sleeves, make sure you kick those pastels out. Feel free to do a little blend with a little pastel and dark. Like, me. I do a blue, then I do a purple. It's all about what your personality is. So, guys, this whole segment right here will not even pertain to you. Girls, go ahead and start working on that body now. Nutrition is 80% and working out is 20%, so that this winter body can be summer ready, because you're not going to get ready in the summer. You got to get ready now when everybody else is hibernating and hiding their bodies. But it's going to be an early summer, y'all, so you don't have a lot of time. Faith. A lot of people are afraid of their calling. A lot of people feel like you have to have the best relationship with God. You have to be perfect. You have to be sin-free. You have to be above the norm in your everyday life in order for you to influence someone or for you to please God. I learned today in having a conversation with a friend that often we are our own worst enemies. And the things that we struggle with forgiveness on is not even an afterthought to God. It's very difficult to self-forgive. I'm in that bracket. And so tonight I just speak to you to let go of anything that you have not been able to let go. Pray about it. Let God remove that from you. And in his word, he says it's as far as the east is from the west. So if it's that far from him, why should it continue to live in your heart? Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of All Things Football from a Lady's Perspective. Tune in, subscribe so that you can be updated when I post the next video, which will be after the combine. And have a blessed night. Thank you.